Today we're talking the MVP of last month. Sorry it took so long to get to this video. SummerSlam was at the beginning, so that dominated the news cycle. Plus, I'm working 50 hours a week at my job, and I have kids, just like Heath Slater. I've got kids, and I gotta feed them. So, what I'm gonna do, though, is release the video late and give away this belt. What is the correlation between giving away this belt and me having kids? Well, basically, I want to become a full-time YouTuber, so I need to bump those numbers up. If you comment and subscribe on this video, you got a chance to win once I hit 10,000 subscribers. In fact, anytime you comment on a video, it gives you an extra chance to win this belt or the belt behind me. Now, let's get into the July MVP. It was a little tough for the men's. There are 4 people who I feel had a shot at the MVP. The first 2 would be Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. Drew McIntyre, he wins the Money in the Bank. CM Punk cost him his championship win. Those 2 had the best storyline, a blood feud going into SummerSlam. However, we're not really talking SummerSlam. That was my favorite match on the card when it comes to storyline, though if I was talking pure athletics, I would say Logan Paul LA Knight was my favorite, but we're not even talking SummerSlam because that happened in August. We're only talking about the month of July. I'm not going to give it to either of those guys, even though it could be well-deserved. The next 2, I have a choice between Damian Priest and Solo Sikoa. Full disclosure, I have not been feeling Damian Priest's title run until July. It wasn't until he got with Gunther that I started really seeing that fire of Damian Priest. Unfortunately, it's just a little too late because he does end up losing the title. But again, just July here, and in July, he stepped up. He showed that he is championship material to me. And I get it. The other months, he was just kind of like probably getting his feet wet, not really knowing how to act as champion. Triple H has said, you do not know how to be champion until your second title run. And I cannot wait for Damian Priest's second title run because the last couple weeks of his first title run just absolutely amazing, really showcasing who he can be and the potential he has to be champion and carry a brand or WWE itself on his back. Not yet there, but making strides to be there. Now, the reason why I'm not putting him as the actual MVP, I'm going to go with Solo Sikoa, but the reason why I'm not is because, yes, he looked strong as a champion, but he looked weak as a leader. All the backstage things happening with Judgment Day made him kind of look like a fool. He let the inmates run the asylum, and then that would result in him losing control of Judgment Day 100%, but just throughout the month of July, he would look great in the ring, and then he'd come back, and he'd be like, well, what are you guys doing? Get this handled. Do this, do that. And then nothing would get done. Did not look like a good leader to his group, and that is what hurts him to be the MVP, because on the other hand, on SmackDown, Solo definitely looked like a good leader to his group. Now, a good person? No, but Solo was dominant throughout July. He even pinned the champion at Money in the Bank. Solo Sikoa just destroyed people week in, week out. It started in June when Jacob Fatu entered the picture and Paul Heyman was destroyed. That happened in June, so it doesn't really count, but he just rode that momentum all the way through July, winning his Money in the Bank match against Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes. Like I said, he pinned the champion at Money in the Bank, and then he just systematically, week in, week out, took out all of Cody's allies, from Randy Orton to Kevin Owens. He made Cody watch. He threatened Roman Reigns, which, not a good idea, but still, just the grapefruits of doing that alone. You know, he's like, you want this Ulafala? Come and get it. Solo Sikoa's, his Bloodline 2.0, his Temu Bloodline, has been a little lackluster, but I really do feel that it came into its own in the months of June and July. And that's why Solo Sikoa is becoming the MVP of July, which is crazy because just 3 months ago, the guy was just like, I was saying, just get rid of him. Put Jacob Fatu as the tribal chief, because I don't know. He has come a long way in a very short amount of time. Solo Sikoa proving himself to be a good tribal chief to a gang of thugs. Going to the women's division, now the MVP of that is, I had a couple choices again. The first choice would be Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton won the Money in the Bank, but in my opinion, while that is a huge deal, that's all she's really done. Yeah, she's had a good airtime and stuff, but nothing so monumental that makes me be like, wow, she was the women's division throughout the month of July. She did have a big victory, but not enough to make her MVP of the entire division. Bayley and Nia Jax, I guess someone could argue it, but I'm not going to, because I feel that their feud is like, okay, they're having a feud, they're gonna fight, but nothing again to just like set the world on fire. It's not must-see TV. You know what I mean? It's not must-see TV. The one who most people would probably pick as the MVP is Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley finally returned to TV after many months of being on the injury shelf. Rhea Ripley returned to a huge pop, and you know, she was part of the must-see storyline, but in reality though, I think other than returning, she didn't do much. And I'm not faulting her, because you know what? Sometimes less is more. However, in this instance, I feel like her opponent, Liv Morgan, did more and carried the division, carried the storyline. Without Liv Morgan's antics, Rhea Ripley would have had nothing to react to, and all Rhea kind of did was she returned. Yes, that was great, that was awesome, and then for the rest of the time, she basically just cold-shouldered Dominic Mysterio or said, I'm going to end your revenge tour and beat you up. That was her whole thing. While Liv Morgan, on the other hand, she did everything she could do. She had a crazy video about how Dominic Mysterio embarrassed her. She had that moment where she just breaks down in tears. She had the moment where she's turning around in the short jeans, and that might not be your type of storyline, but it did break the internet. So I gotta say that without Liv Morgan doing the Liv Morgan antics, this would just be kind of a Bayley versus Nia feud, where it's like, I'm going to beat you up and take your title. No, I'm going to beat you up and keep my title. No, I'm going to beat you up and take your title. No, I'm going to beat you up and keep my title. And that goes on for week in, week out. But Liv Morgan took it to this level that was just crazy. Literally crazy. And I would say, even though the great Rhea Ripley, she returned, I'm still giving it to Liv Morgan. And if you look at my past 2 MVP videos, Liv Morgan, she's on a streak. This is her 3rd month in a row being the MVP of the women's division. So kudos to her. And this time round, she's just ramping it up. She's just ramping it up. And she's already off to a good start in August as well. But we'll talk about August next month. These are your MVPs: Solo Sikoa and Liv Morgan. Who did you guys think should be the MVPs of July? Remember, you gotta fit it in July only. Who are your MVPs? Tell me if I'm right or wrong. Don't forget to comment so you can be the MVP of the channel and win one of these belts. You guys, you girls, have a great day.